He went live. No warning, no filter, just a blank stare, and lyrics that sounded like regret. Justin Bieber, shirtless, shaky, and saying things he can't take back. Fans were stunned, not just by how he looked, but what he felt. "I'm sick and tired of hurting you, baby." Was that a lyric? Or a confession? And the timing? Couldn't be more suspicious. Just days after Selena Gomez dropped a track that felt like a lyrical hit job. Her new song, her new ring, her new man, Benny Blanco, all of it trending. And suddenly, Justin cracks on camera. Was it shade? Was it heartbreak? Or was it something deeper? Because this wasn't just a breakdown. This was a message, one Selena never asked for. And what came next wasn't just messy, it was historic. Let's break it all down. On March 29, 2025, Justin Bieber went live on Instagram, and within seconds, fans knew something was off. This wasn't a polished PR move or a surprise performance. It felt more like a public unraveling. Shirtless, gaunt, and visibly dazed, Justin appeared in a dim, cave-like setting that immediately set the internet on edge. Over 6,000 people watched as the once flawless pop star stumbled through a live session that felt raw, chaotic, and heartbreakingly human. What started as random mumbling quickly escalated into something much heavier. He began playing rough. Demos, unreleased songs that weren't just music, they were confessions. Lyrics like, "I'm tired of pretending I'm okay," and "This ain't peace, it's punishment" flooded the live stream, and the comment section went into overdrive. Fans were screen recording, analyzing his tone, and asking, was this about Selena? Was this his breaking point? But then Justin said something that made everyone freeze. He admitted that playing those songs gave him anxiety. It wasn't just the music, it was the emotional weight behind it. And as he ended the live stream, viewers noticed his lips tighten, his energy collapse. Body language experts would later point to that moment as a sign of inner turmoil, evidence that this wasn't a publicity stunt, but a man unraveling in real time. This wasn't just content, this was a cry for help, and fans, critics, and even therapists were watching. The internet exploded within minutes of the live stream ending. Fans weren't just reacting, they were theorizing, dissecting, spiraling. Some believed Justin was throwing shade at Selena's new engagement. Others thought he was unraveling from something far deeper. And the timeline? It was way too perfect to ignore. Just days before this live meltdown, Selena Gomez had dropped a new track with her fiancé Benny Blanco, a song that fans instantly labeled as a lyrical missile aimed at Justin. The track, titled "How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten?", wasn't subtle. Lines like, "You walked in, big-ass grin, talking like we're friends," sent fans into detective mode. The vibe? Petty. The timing? Brutal. The message? Clear. It didn't take long for Stan Twitter to light up with theories that Selena had finally closed the book on her Jelena era, and that Justin, knowingly or not, had just opened it back up. The connection between her song and his breakdown was too direct to be coincidence. Even though Selena denied the song was about any one person, the internet wasn't buying it. "We're not new here, bestie," one fan tweeted. The lyrics, the energy, the subtext, it all screamed unresolved history. And for Justin, that history wasn't just emotional, it was public. The way fans saw it, Selena's engagement was her final chapter, and Justin's IG Live was proof he hadn't turned the page. The conspiracy threads didn't stop with the song. Fans began connecting dots between Selena's glow-up and Justin's emotional spiral. Her engagement to Benny Blanco in December 2024 had already been seen as a power move, a symbolic "I won the breakup" moment. But when she followed that up with a breakup anthem dripping in pointed lyrics, the internet couldn't help but ask, was Justin cracking under the pressure? Just 8 days after Selena's track dropped, Justin posted a meme to Instagram. At first glance, it seemed harmless, a Lord of the Rings joke about girls on social media when they get engaged. But in context, it was giving major shade. Fans immediately linked the post to Selena's viral ring reveal, calling it proof that her engagement was still living rent-free in Justin's mind. The speculation only deepened when Justin's actions started aligning a little too perfectly with the emotional undercurrent of Selena's album. From the live stream to the cryptic meme, everything pointed back to her. One fan summed it up perfectly. "This isn't random, this is reaction content." The timing, the energy, the unspoken tension. It all created a very clear narrative. In the eyes of the internet, Selena was moving forward. Justin was spiraling backward, and whether intentional or not, the digital breadcrumbs he left behind made it impossible not to read into everything he did. The deeper fans dug, the messier it got. This wasn't just about an ex feeling salty, this was emotional whiplash from a love story that never truly healed. Justin and Selena weren't just any celebrity couple. They were the blueprint for a generation of fans who grew up watching their relationship play out like a real-time soap opera. From their Disney Channel beginnings to the toxic breakup loops, the trauma was baked into their timeline. And Justin knew it. In a 2020 Apple Music interview with Zane Lowe, he admitted that his time with Selena left him reckless and filled with unforgiveness. He even said he wasn't emotionally healthy enough to be with anyone, let alone marry, until years after it ended. It was a rare moment of vulnerability that painted their breakup not just as a tabloid headline, but a deep psychological wound. Selena, for her part, never shied away from her truth either. She called the relationship emotionally abusive in a 2020 NPR interview and said she had to claw her way back from that dynamic before she could even think about dating again. And she wasn't being dramatic, she was being honest. In her own words, it took her 5 years to collect herself after that relationship. 5 years. That's not a rebound. That's recovery. So when she sings about being forgotten, about someone acting like they're over it when they're clearly not, the internet doesn't just listen. They feel it. Because this isn't just drama anymore. It's damage. Selena's healing arc wasn't just lyrical, it was lived. In her 2022 Apple TV Plus documentary, My Mind and Me, she described her breakup with Justin as both the worst possible heartbreak and, paradoxically, the best thing that ever happened to her. That duality, the grief and the growth, is what made fans rally around her so hard. She wasn't just moving on with a new man, she was rebuilding herself, brick by brick, and it showed. In a 2025 interview with Jay Shetty, Selena admitted that her past relationships made her reactive and emotionally unstable, and that's why she took a 5-year pause on dating. Her words were raw. "I wouldn't have been in the right headspace, and I don't think he deserved what I had gone through before." Translation: she knew she wasn't healed enough to love properly, and she wasn't going to repeat that pattern. That level of emotional self-awareness only deepened the contrast between Selena's current peace and Justin's visible unraveling. One had clearly done the work. The other still looked like he was carrying every ghost from the past. And the internet noticed, because when Selena says she's finally in a healthy relationship, and Justin's over there posting memes, playing sad songs, and spiraling on live streams, it paints a picture no one can ignore. She moved forward. He's stuck in rewind. And now, the entire world is watching the fallout in real time. The idea that Justin never truly moved on wasn't just a fan theory anymore, it was starting to feel like a pattern. Just days after his emotional live stream, on April 3rd, 2025, Justin posted yet another cryptic meme. This time, it featured a scene from Lord of the Rings with the caption, "Girls on social media when they get engaged." Alone, it might have seemed like harmless humor. But stacked on top of his live stream, Selena's song, and his clear unease, it read as something else entirely. A bitter echo of someone stuck in the past. Fans didn't hesitate to connect the dots. Comments poured in, saying things like, "Why now?" And "This man is deep in his feelings." And it wasn't just the fans saying it. Even professionals began weighing in. Mental health experts, including a Manhattan psychotherapist and a North Carolina surgeon quoted by The Daily. Mail expressed concern over Justin's gaunt appearance and emotional state. His physical deterioration and anxious energy weren't just tabloid bait, they were red flags. With a history of health issues like Lyme disease, facial paralysis from Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, and even past struggles with Xanax addiction, Justin's emotional spiral hit different. This wasn't just about heartbreak anymore, it was about wellness, about whether a pop icon who'd lived his entire youth under the microscope was now silently crashing under its weight. The PR machine, of course, tried to downplay everything. A representative for Justin told Radar Online that he was in one of the best places of his life, focusing on family and fatherhood with baby Jack and working on new music. But fans weren't buying it. The timing felt suspicious. The tone felt manufactured. And the contrast between that polished statement and what they had just witnessed on IG Live was too stark to ignore. One moment, Justin was anxious, gaunt, and mumbling through rough demos. The next, his team was painting him as a blissed-out dad living his best life. For fans, that wasn't clarity, it was deflection. The disconnect only fueled the theory that something deeper was going on behind the scenes, something the public wasn't being told. Meanwhile, the engagement that allegedly triggered it all, Selena and Benny Blanco's December 2024 announcement, was still dominating the narrative. What should have been a joyful moment became a psychological landmine. Not only was Selena engaged, she was engaged to someone Justin once called a close friend. That detail hit hard. It wasn't just a breakup anymore. It was betrayal layered over nostalgia. Benny had been part of Justin's inner circle. They'd worked together, supported each other. And now, Benny was the one holding the ring. For Justin, this wasn't just his ex moving on. This was his past and his present colliding in a way that no one, not even his PR team, could spin. For Justin, Benny's engagement to Selena wasn't just a headline, it was a personal hit. This was a guy he once considered a brother. They collaborated on music, confided in each other, and rode through some of Justin's darkest moments together. So, when the news broke that Benny and Selena were not only a couple, but engaged, insiders said Justin was stunned. Not angry at first, just speechless. It was the kind of silence that said everything, because Benny wasn't just any man. He was someone who knew the entire story. Someone who heard Justin's heartbreak firsthand, who saw him at his most, vulnerable when things with Selena were still raw. So, to see him now, holding the hand of the very girl Justin once couldn't let go of, that wasn't just closure. It was a collision course with every ghost he thought he'd buried. The aftermath was obvious. Friends started describing Justin as distant and on edge. His vibe shifted from low-key married life to something darker, more restless. The unfollowing of Benny on social media didn't go unnoticed. It was the digital version of slamming a door shut, a symbolic declaration that the friendship was over. But for fans, that move confirmed what they already suspected. This engagement didn't just reopen old wounds, it deepened them. Selena had moved on, Benny had leveled up. And Justin, he was stuck trying to figure out how to smile while watching. The people he trusted most build a future without him. As the emotional fallout piled up, fans began drawing lines between Justin's recent spiral and the haunting weight of unfinished business. Reports started surfacing that Justin was battling sleepless nights and mood swings, described by insiders as manic energy. The source? According to those close to him, it all circled back to Selena's engagement. One insider bluntly claimed it stung hard. Not because Justin didn't want her to be happy, but because her happiness symbolized something final. Closure. The kind that doesn't just end a chapter, it closes the book. For years, Justin had lived in the shadow of a relationship the world refused to forget. But now, Selena wasn't just moving on, she was thriving. That hurt in a way nothing else could. The theory that Justin's actions, his live stream, the memes, the emotional lyrics were direct responses to Selena's glow-up gained more and more traction. And it didn't help when he followed up with cryptic posts that fans read as coded messages. Whether it was the song he paired with a selfie, or the meme he dropped during her album promo cycle, every move felt intentional. Strategic even. It painted a picture of a man unraveling publicly while trying to hold on to private control. And for his fans, the contrast between his current chaos and Selena's calm made one thing clear. This wasn't just drama. It was grief. Loud, unprocessed, and leaking into every corner of his online life, and the grief wasn't happening in a vacuum. Justin wasn't just mourning a relationship, he was battling a public that refused to let him forget it. The internet's obsession with Selena had never really died, and now it was flaring up stronger than ever. Every post he made, every lyric he wrote, every moment he appeared vulnerable, fans twisted it back to Selena. And whether or not that was his intention, the emotional aftermath was real. Even if Justin was trying to move forward, the constant comparisons, the relentless shipping, the headlines that always dragged him back into 2012, it all became psychological noise he couldn't shut out. It's one thing to feel haunted by your past. It's another thing when millions of people keep summoning the ghost for you. And that's what makes this story hit differently. Because Justin isn't just reacting to Selena, he's reacting to the world's refusal to let go of what they once were. His fans, Selena's fans, and the media alike have turned a closed chapter into a revolving door. And in that space, the lines between heartbreak and humiliation blur. This isn't just one man's emotional spiral, it's the fallout of living your most intimate pain in public and never being allowed to fully move on. The fans, of course, responded in two extreme camps. On one side were the deeply concerned, the ride or dies who watched that live stream and didn't see drama, they saw danger. Comments flooded social media like, "He's not okay. We can all see where this is going," and "This is so freaking sad." These weren't trolls, these were people who'd grown up with Justin, who felt connected to his story in ways that blurred the line between audience and ally. For them, this wasn't just content, it was crisis. They weren't watching a pop star, they were watching someone they felt personally invested in come undone. But the other side of the internet chose chaos. The critics, the cynics, the fans who rolled their eyes and said, "It's been almost a decade. Why is he still acting like this?" They mocked the live stream, called it performative, and accused Justin of being stuck in the past while pretending to play house in the present. "You're a whole married father and still spiraling over your ex," one tweet read. Others went even further, accusing him of emotional immaturity, dragging up memes like, "That baby's first word will be Selena Gomez." Brutal, but viral, because when it comes to celebrity culture, we don't always treat breakdowns with care. Sometimes we turn them into punchlines. And for Justin, that ridicule, layered over the real anxiety he was showing, became another kind of pain. That ridicule didn't just stay online, it started creeping into Justin's real life. Whispers turned into headlines, speculation turned into entire theory videos, and suddenly, the spotlight wasn't just on Justin and Selena, it was on Justin and Hailey. Fans began to question the health of his marriage, asking if Hailey was watching the same live streams, reading the same lyrics, noticing the same unraveling. Some fans didn't hold back. One viral comment read, "I see why Hailey's always on edge. Her man's still mentally in 2016. Others accused Justin of dragging his past into his present, creating emotional chaos that Hailey never signed up for. And that opened the floodgates. TikTok started dissecting Hailey's body language, her silence, her social media likes, or lack thereof. Every time she looked distant or skipped a public appearance with Justin, fans called it evidence of a deeper fracture. Some even claimed that Justin's obsession with Selena was all anyone in that house talked about, morning, afternoon, and night. The drama wasn't just personal, it had turned parasitic. It began feeding off itself, cycling through social media like wildfire, blurring the line between genuine concern and digital surveillance. Whether or not any of it was true didn't matter anymore. The narrative had taken over. And now, Hailey wasn't just Justin's wife, she was a character in a love triangle the internet refused to let die. As the chaos built online, so did the memes. And with them, the cruel comedy of fan culture. Posts like, "That baby's first," words will be Selena Gomez, and "Karma is real, and it wears rare beauty," started flooding For You pages. Fans weren't just reacting anymore, they were weaponizing humor to process what felt like an unraveling marriage in public view. But beneath the jokes was a darker truth. People weren't laughing with Justin and Hailey, they were laughing at them. The fandoms had stopped caring about nuance. Everything was now a viral moment, a punchline, or a conspiracy theory waiting to be stitched on TikTok. And those theories, they only got wilder. Some fans started linking Justin's behavior to even bigger Hollywood scandals, dragging in names like Diddy and painting Justin as another pawn in a twisted industry chessboard. Were these theories reaching? Absolutely. But they gained traction. Anyway, because in the age of digital paranoia, speculation travels faster than truth. And in the background of all this noise, Hailey was left navigating the most uncomfortable role of all, the other woman in a love story that ended years ago, but refuses to rest in peace. Rumors of trouble in paradise weren't just whispers anymore, they were headlines. Reports began circulating that Hailey had briefly unfollowed Justin on Instagram, only to follow him again hours later. Some chalked it up to a glitch. Others called it a silent scream. Insiders claimed Hailey was fed up, emotionally exhausted by Justin's inability to leave his past behind. And then came the plot twist. Whispers that Justin wanted to leave the US entirely. Whether true or not, it added gasoline to the fire. Fans and gossip blogs spun it into a full-blown narrative, one where Justin wasn't just lost in the past, he was trying to run from the present. The comparisons only made it worse. Hailey's every move was measured against Selena's, her interviews, her outfits, even her silences. It was the kind of emotional comparison game no one wins, but Hailey couldn't escape it. In a resurfaced 2022 podcast interview, she tried to put the Selena rumors to rest once and for all, saying point blank, "I was never with him while he was with her. I would never do that." But the damage had already been done. To the public, she was always going to be the girl who came after the girl he never truly let go of. And now, with Justin spiraling and Selena thriving, the internet had decided it knew who the villain was. It didn't matter what was real anymore. The narrative had locked in, and Hailey was drowning in it. What made it even harder for Hailey was the fact that she never really stood a chance with the internet. From the beginning, she was cast as the villain in someone else's love story, a chuap, story that had already ended but refused to fade. In that same 2022 interview, she talked openly about the harassment she endured from Selena's fans, how she begged people not to tear women down, and how she never wanted to be caught in this triangle. "She doesn't owe me anything," Hailey said about Selena, "but I respect her a lot." It was a mature response, calm and composed. But for many fans, it didn't matter, because the internet wasn't interested in empathy. It wanted a scapegoat, and Hailey, married to the man Selena once loved, was the easiest target. As Hailey tried to move with grace, the online chaos continued to mount. Everything she said, or didn't say, became part of a bigger theory. She liked a TikTok? It was shade. She looked distant at a concert? It was proof. She posted a meme? Fans were convinced it was a cryptic shot at Selena. The surveillance never stopped. And even when her team issued a firm denial about liking shady content, calling the whole rumor fabricated, no one really listened. Because by that point, truth didn't matter. The public had made up its mind. Hailey wasn't just a woman trying to navigate marriage under pressure. She was now the internet's favorite antagonist in a saga that refused to die. And then came the darkest twist: the internet's obsession with rewriting the past. A viral TikTok docuseries began making rounds, claiming Hailey had been plotting to marry Justin for over a decade. It framed her not as a woman who fell in love, but as a master strategist. Fans resurfaced clips from 2009 when Hailey met Justin backstage. As a teenager, suggesting her father, actor Stephen Baldwin, orchestrated the introduction. From there, the theories spiraled. Some accused Hailey of tracking Justin's whereabouts through fan pages, booking hotel rooms near him, or showing up at the same restaurants, all to stay within his orbit. It sounded wild, but the more dramatic the claims got, the more the algorithm rewarded them. What really lit things up, though, was the theory that Hailey had copied Selena. Everything from tattoos to outfits to launching a cooking show similar to Selena plus chef. Fans posted side by side, comparisons, adding eerie music and slow zooms for effect. It didn't matter if it was coincidence, inspiration, or completely made up. The storyline was too addictive. People wanted to believe there was a plan, a timeline, a chessboard. Because in a world ruled by parasocial narratives, love isn't just love, it's strategy. And now, in this retold version of the Selena legacy, Hailey wasn't just the second wife. She was the architect of the ending. As the docuseries picked up steam, fans fell even deeper down the rabbit hole. Every coincidence became a clue. Every interaction was reinterpreted as evidence. One theory claimed Hailey orchestrated Selena's now famous 2014 Dubai trip with Kendall and Gigi, allegedly to keep Selena away from Justin during the holidays. Others pointed to Hailey's rapid engagement to Justin in 2018, just months after his final breakup with Selena, calling it the endgame move of a decade-long pursuit. From a romantic point of view, it was dizzying. From a psychological one, it was chilling. Because it suggested that Hailey hadn't simply fallen into a love story, she'd engineered it. Even Hailey's attempts to humanize herself were repurposed by the internet as manipulation. Her quotes about wanting peace were twisted into calculated PR moves. Her silence was read as guilt, and when she finally did speak up, whether about respect, boundaries, or womanhood, no one really heard her. The narrative had swallowed her whole. The girl who once stood beside Justin on magazine covers was now cast as the shadow behind him. And with every viral theory, every recycled image, every out-of-context quote, the internet turned her life into a web of suspicion. This wasn't just fandom anymore, this was folklore. Fast forward to now, and it's clear. This isn't just a love triangle, it's a cultural ghost story. The saga of Justin, Selena, and Hailey has taken on a life of its own, reshaped by fans, recycled by the media, and reignited by every post, every lyric, every live stream. And no matter how much time passes, the internet keeps asking the same question in new ways. Who really won? Was it Selena, thriving in her healing era, engaged to a man the world never saw coming? Was it Hailey, married to the man at the center of it all, still fighting for peace inside the chaos? Or was it no one? Because maybe the price of being loved by millions is never being allowed to forget the person you used to love? At the heart of it all is something more haunting than any rumor. The idea that even fame can't protect you from pain, that you can grow, move on, fall in love again, and still be haunted by the parts of yourself you shared with someone else. Justin's breakdown didn't just spark headlines, it sparked recognition. Because deep down, everyone watching saw a bit of themselves in it. The version of you that still flinches when a name is mentioned. The version that smiles in public and spirals in private. The version that wonders if closure is real or just a story we tell ourselves to sleep at night. And that is what keeps the Jelena story alive. Not just because it was iconic, but because it was unfinished. In the end, this was never just about who dated who or who unfollowed who, or even who said what in a live stream. This was about heartbreak, public and private, about growing up in front of cameras while dragging your past like a shadow you can't outrun. It was about Justin, once the golden boy of pop, cracking under the weight of a love that never truly ended. About Selena, rising from the ashes of that same love, refusing to play the victim, and finally finding a version of peace that looked nothing like the past. And about Hailey, caught in the middle of a legacy she never asked to be part of. But can't escape from either. What we're witnessing isn't just celebrity drama, it's emotional residue. It's trauma dressed as trend. It's what happens when millions of strangers feel entitled to narrate your love story, long after you've stopped telling it. Maybe that's why this triangle refuses to fade. Because in some twisted way, it reflects all of us. The parts that still check old profiles, that still wonder what if, that still carry unfinished endings. Justin's breakdown wasn't just his, it was ours. Proof that even the most famous hearts can still break quietly, on camera, while the whole world watches. And maybe the real question isn't what happened to Jelena. Maybe it's, why can't we let it go?